Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and avatars. My name is Sungju Kim. I'm the chairperson and chief visionary officer of the MCM Group, a German luxury fashion brand. It is my pleasure and honor to join you here amongst the top leaders from around the globe at this highly esteemed World Government Summit. We are truly facing unprecedented times. In this rapidly evolving socio-economic landscape, governments, organizations, and individuals must quickly adapt and innovate in order to survive and thrive. Today, adopting new digital technologies, business models, and social paradigms are compulsory for creating new solutions for growth and social progress. As the global leaders like you, it is our urgent call to collaborate at an international level and inspire the next generation who will forge a better future for humanity. For today's panel, I would be delighted if you could join me to elaborate this important topic, discussing the role of societal empowerment with a specific focus on innovation and technology for gender diversity. This topic is very close to my heart. A study from the World Bank highlighted that narrowing the gender gap is critical to sustainable and inclusive growth. We are living in the content-based creative economy. Diversity is paramount to foster creativity, and creativity is critical for success in the age of artificial intelligence. For me, growing up in a conservative and patriarchal environment that was influenced by a long history of Confucianism in Korea, I had to face countless roadblocks on the journey that has led me to where I am today. So here is what I have done to overcome obstacles. I have focused on innovation and growth, not social norms and limitation, to deliver my vision for MCM to become a true smart luxury leader. The MCM Group has been always an early adopter of digital technologies and pushed hard to accelerate digital transformation to achieve transparency at all levels. We now operate in 46 countries with more than 600 stores comprised of colleagues of 40 different nationalities. We also operate here in the Middle East through a joint venture with the Altair Group with very successful e-commerce and many prestigious retail locations, including the one at the Dubai Mall. With this digital-first approach, my company, MCM, has envisioned to become the MSSL, or pronounced as Muscle, leader. MSSL stands for Metaverse-Driven Sustainable and Smart Luxury. This holistic front-end and back-end approach equips MCM to stand out amongst competition and pave the road to win over gigantic competitors on a global scale. Our ultimate goal is to achieve speed, spontaneity, and satisfaction by rapidly responding to changes in the market. We deliver what customers really want, a few steps ahead of the curve in this D2C era. As you may all agree, we are facing a huge turning point in human history. I believe that the new formula for growth involves maximum synergy between human and AI. The only and best way to remain competitive in this new economy is to continuously build and embrace a limitless mindset beyond any discrimination. Without this perspective, I can boldly say that there is no future for us. This is our urgent call. Now, you see me here in the real life. Now, I would like to introduce my dear friend, Dr. Song-Yi Yoon, a MIT trustee, venture capitalist, and chief strategy officer of NCSoft, one of the largest online game publishers in the world. Dr. Yoon is a living proof of how women can excel in this AI era. I am confident that she will inspire many women and future generations with this very urgent call for action. So thank you very much, and please welcome Dr. Song-Yi Yoon.
Ladies, I'm clearly out of a job. I don't think I'm being invited next year. I think we'll have your avatar on the AI technology doing my job. Pleasure to have you both here with us today. I have to comment, that video was actually produced, am I right? A 19-year-old, the youngest associate at MCM with zero investment, free tools. That really does just show how much the workspace is completely transforming, yes?
Indeed. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So as we mentioned, we're going to be looking at not just AI, but social and societal empowerment. You have been an early adapter and adopter of technology right throughout your career. What has been the biggest change for you?
First of all, thank you for being with us, with you, and also Avatar does a much better job, and she's more sexier and prettier and better speaker. So, well, let me go back a little bit. I'm also analog generation, immigrate to digital, so therefore I'm still learning, so I don't have much things to tell you. However, when I started 34 years ago in Korea, starting my own company.
Yeah.
I used to be like a franchise for Gucci and Saint Laurent, and now MCM. We own for global business. Obviously, very male chauvinism, which is very typical. I don't criticize it. China, Japan, when you go a lot of boozing, drinking, big boys club, and CEO's level, I go in. I'm only women, especially when I was younger. They think, why she's here with us? She's just supposed to bring in only tea or wine to serve them. So they really put me down. So I said, okay, against all this social prejudice, and on top of that, even corruption, a lot of things going on. So how can I clean up? Shall I just give up or to be more smarter? Oh. That's how I became more early adapter. So 34 years ago, still ancient time, we adapted the IBM 400 to start with, and later on SAP Infra. Now we are really moving into full forcefully digital advancement. So obviously we have to hire much younger talents who understand. As you said, 19 years boy, even he never went to even college, couldn't make that kind of video for out of zero investment, shows a great potential boy and girl and young kids, how they can bring in this new era. So I'm very proud. Out of now we have about 1,200, and including part-time more than 1,500. Colleagues and working in the 40 nationalities and also 46 nations we exist, running about 700 stores every day and dealing with the supply chain more than 200-300 and the factories from Korea, Italy supplying. But really so far it worked very well. Not perfect yet, but it eventually make absolute majority are women. Go for it.
Well, as well as the kind of the gender transition, as you say, we're mentioning very heavily about AI and technology, and Dr. Sung-Ji Yoon, with advancements in AI technology, what are you seeing in terms of the social dynamics within the work environment?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's my great pleasure attending World Government Summit and sitting at the same panel with a leader that I dearly admire. So, and thank you so much for the question. And I think it's at macro perspective, AI is an interesting technology because it's one of the GPTs that's very close to us. When I say GPT, I don't mean GPT like a chat GPT. GPT actually is a kind of old concept in economics. It stands for general purpose technology. So throughout the human history, the introduction of general purpose technology transformed the way we live and how we do things. So example of general purpose technologies include steam engine, electricity, internet, mobile, and all those things as kind of think back, those transformed how we work and how we interact with people and how we communicate. And I think AI today is having the similar impact on our workplace. It transforms the way we process data, how we divide the work, and how we collaborate. It demands all of us to change the way we're thinking and the way we are approaching the work. And instead of retrofitting our old organizations, it requires for all of us to really embrace the technology and think from ground zero. And an interesting perspective about the introduction of GPT was introduction of electricity. When electricity was first introduced to the factory setting, which were mostly set up with a kind of the steam engine in mind, it took 30 years to truly embrace the potential of the technology and reach the productivity gain. Because at first, people just tried just a steam engine with the electric power. and it didn't work out. It didn't really embrace the potential of the electricity. It had to come up with a conveyor belt and totally new design to really harness the potential and come up with what was possible. I think that at this age, we are trying to retrofit the old kind of organization and old way of habit with a new technology. And I think we are just kind of getting out of that tunnel to really see that breakout success and changes.
Sung-Gi, as a stakeholder, what accountability and responsibility lies with you?
And I think it's it almost sounds like a cliche that but as a person who's been doing using this technology and kind of and harnessing it for many decades, I see a lot of great responsibility in how we handle it. It's obviously technology that comes with a lot of a nuance, and the day we kind of handle data brings a different result. So for example, I think it's a most simplistic example would be, I think it's now it's very different, but if you go back 10, 12 years ago, if you search, input the keyword, search term called CEO in Google search engine, and you go to the image tab, all the images that you will see are white males. The first female image that you will see as a result is not even a human female. It was a Barbie CEO, right? And I think that's the kind of the data that our humanity has created, and that's a data that AI is going to learn to see the world. So there's no question that when AI is asked what a competent CEO looks like, it's going to draw a white male because it was trained with that exact data. As a person who was running a gaming company, I saw a lot of responsibilities. For example, I think it's the same thing, right? If you look at, I realized a lot of in olden days, a lot of the characters, hero characters, were all male, and the female characters had impossible physique, very thin body, and had to carry this impossibly ginormous weapon. And I think it's as a people who are producing kind of the data in the media for the future generation to see, I think we have a responsibility to create a world that we aspire, so that not just the future generation, but also AI have the kind of perspective, the world that we'd like to build.
That brings me on to Sung-Ju. We talk about male versus female, but you would argue that the future is actually going to be, thanks to technological advancements, it's going to be AI versus humanity.
I totally agree. Just going back a little bit Korea context, I was advisor to the mayor of the city and also sometimes to the president. And if we don't utilize half of population, we are not going to be no way to compete in brain-driven creative economy. And secondly, it's not just a men and women, not at all. Not really. Women has to take on most advanced technology as much as possible. For example, even me, I'm 67 old granny, and then I'm writing my own kind of biography kind of book with a ChatGPT. So instead of being scared, just try to get familiar, not to be behind. And even though you are learning, I think you have to really allow next generation empowered to take on more technology to drive the kind of efficiency, productivity, so tap into their brain. And especially female leaders, really, we don't have time to wait. And men change. Men are not changing, agree. So, also we should not even criticize them because they did a great job. Women are nothing better, we are just different. But these different quality, I would say men have the more IQ and masculinity, women have more IQ and EQ, which is emotion conscious. That's what this AI-driven creative and also knowledge-based economy most needed. For instance, a lot of these manufacturing-based industry emerged. Now it's more now content-driven, like Netflix or whatever. And I see many established, even media group, they are competing with a one-person media. She's just working out of her kitchen table, but she has 10 million followers. That's the era we are in. So it's not scale game anymore.
No.
It's not just a resource game anymore. It is a matter of really contents, creativity, and dedication. But most of all I'd like to really imposing is, women has a very precious quality. You know what it is? Motherhoodship. Because we see too much conflict and war going on around us. It scares us. How about our next generation future? Who is going to heal and resolve and really make a better one? I mean, women really, I tell you, because I come from very, very heavily socially pressed against. For instance, me, my avatar did not tell you much about it, but for instance, when I would try to go study abroad, my father said, unless you get married, husband, means you follow him, not by yourself. And secondly, even my father came from one of the biggest energy tycoon, multi-billion-dollar, like when you go to Seoul City gas all belong to my family, for instance. And your brothers, regardless their capacity, they ought to inherit. Girl like you, coming from a big family, marry another big family. That's your norm. I said, no way. So I rebel against it. I start everything from scratch. So I'm very proud to say from zero until now, $500 million company, even though I'm still struggling. But as I said again, don't be scared of what we don't have. Don't be even intimidated by the social prejudice. Just take on technology. It is, yes, difficult. Look at my age group to take on. But I was so brave and to open up. I mean, for instance, even company-wide for this digital transformation, we took on BCG, Boston Consult Group, to help us to this digital journey. And also now even Caliverse here, they are one of the most advanced software company from Lotte Group, and he helped us our metaverse. So now you can imagine we have a store in the Dubai Mall. We have competed biggest giants like David and Goliath. So who wins? David, right? But maybe I would say Davida, because I'm a woman, so Davida wins Goliath. So to win, we have this extremely smart, extremely early adapter, extremely whatever, just we reach out to this direct-to-consumer era, and also by the end, women knows what we want, so we have a strength, right? Go for it.
Well, you mentioned there embracing the technology, and I joked earlier, I'm out of a job. You will get people who are resistant to embracing it. Dr. Song-Gi, what are the dangers, if any, of the technology that we're seeing coming through the system?
I think it's. I think as I mentioned earlier about the kind of the potential outcome could be kind of the discrimination and strong biases, because this technology based on all this like a big data has a potential to really amplify the kind of the biases that exist in our society. It has a potential to really amplify the divide. And also, I think it has a potential to really wipe out the nuances and kind of beautiful diversity in the culture. And if you look at, especially if you look at this kind of large language models and then the big AI system, they also claim, we just used all the data or all the information that exists on internet. But as we all know, about 35% of our whole population do not have access to broadband. Only I think it's if you go to places like Africa, only 30% of people have access to broadband. There is no question that all the data, when they say all the data, that doesn't represent the people who are left out in terms of this kind of access. So if we just kind of believe that, what ChatGPT represents is what all humanity thinks, or it's a common sense, it's not common sense of all, it's a common sense of some people, and especially most of the data and information is represented in English. So common sense and cultural diversity and differences represented by different language is now represented in this technology if you would like to approximate with one big technology. So there is a great demand and urgency to really come up with this technology that represents all of us and kind of preserve the cultural diversity, and that is on us. And another thing is our education. We touched upon education briefly. And I think if we look at our education system, for the last 200 years, it has been optimized for delivering content and knowledge in the most efficient way. At the same time, we worry about the future of the work, future of the job, when a lot of things is going to be automated and replaced by this technology. What's respected to us humans is a creativity and problem-solving skills. So I think we have to rethink our education, how we train our next generation to be instilled with this creativity and focus the education and curriculum in maximizing this human right traits than cramming with a large amount of the knowledge.
Ladies, I'd love to keep you here longer. Unfortunately, we are bang out of time for this session. But ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sunju Kim and Dr. Song-Yi Yoon. Thank you so much, ladies.